everybody. Hub Arkush here for ChicagoFootball.com, along with our senior Bears beat reporter, Kevin Fishbain, our senior NFL and fantasy writer, Arthur Arkush, and we're talking Chicago Bears today as they continue to work on the defense. They have a safety here with 3 Pro Bowl appearances. That is 2 more than all the Chicago Bears safeties combined this century. Antrel Rolle arrives to fill a need. And you know, Kevin, I think you'd be really, really excited about this with the one caveat. He is 32, he will be 33 this year, and he is coming off his worst year in a while.
Yeah, if you want to spin that positively, there's 2 ways to do it. He's been durable. He's played in 80 consecutive games, and maybe this is a Bears organization front office that wants to really compete in 2015. Otherwise, they wouldn't, give this kind of contract to someone like Rolle. And maybe Rolle, who would have had other options, is excited about what he can contribute to the 2015 Bears. So the age is something to consider, but as you mentioned, just a pedigree, 3-time Pro Bowler, has been in 2 Super Bowls. This is a position that has eluded the Bears for so long, and now you have an experienced guy who has some cover abilities because he started his career as a corner.
Well, that's it. All the guys the Bears have brought in, the Major Wrights, the Chris Contes, the guys who were supposed to be the big hitters. Arthur, if you were going to compare him style-wise, it'd be Devin McCourty, the cream of this crop. He is a coverage guy first. He was the 8th pick overall in the first round by the Arizona Cardinals, played the corner for a little while before he became a safety, but a center field coverage type safety.
And a valuable skill set, obviously, in today's NFL. I don't think anyone's going to mistake his range for McCourty's at this juncture, but definitely a valuable commodity. And what I particularly like about this deal, we heard Ryan Pace say he's going to balance needs and balance strengths and weaknesses in the draft versus free agency. We all know there's no safeties in the draft, so this is setting themselves to continue to want to take the best available player rather than have to reach because they haven't filled needs through free agency.
Kevin, another interesting note on Antrel Rolle. You talk about a locker room presence, and the locker room has been discussed a lot in the last year or so. I've done a number of his games as a Giant on the sidelines for Westwood One. He is a very vocal individual. He was not just a team leader, but a strong team leader in New York. I'm told in nothing but positive ways, and yet a guy who will occasionally say something that somebody, like a head coach, could take the wrong way.
Yeah, he's outspoken, and I think that when I was reading about him, I thought, man, the Bears could have used him last year, not so much for playing safety, but to corral that locker room that just got out of control. And I think he's going to bring a great voice, especially to that secondary. Keep in mind, you're probably not going to have Charles Tillman and Lance Briggs, some of the guys who were vocal leaders earlier in their career. You need new players, new faces to have that really aura in the locker room. And I think the other that's interesting about him, Tom Coughlin just gushed about Antrel Rolle at the Combine, talked about how Rolle would go to his office every week trying to get better. You don't hear coaches talk about it the way that Coughlin talked about Antrel Rolle. I really took a lot from that.
Very bright guy, and there will be plenty of stories to follow. The bloodlines are amazing. His cousin Samari, a successful cornerback in the NFL. His cousin Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, yes, they're cousins as well. I have another cousin who's a Rhodes Scholar. A lot of stories about the Rolle family along NFL history.
Yeah, no question. The bloodlines, the familiar bloodlines, is something we've been hearing with the Bears, obviously, from the Verreens to the Fullers. So, hey, it can't be a bad thing. I think the pedigree, no one's going to question. Also, the big game Super Bowl experience. We asked John Fox earlier this week. He said, yeah, that matters. These guys carry clout in the locker room, and they can sort of, usher in a new culture and help get some energy flowing in the building. So I think it's just one more positive that comes with Antrel Rolle, and we'll see if it's a home run for the Bears.
So here it is, guys. Kind of interesting. The Bears are actually now older on defense, but much better at safety than they've been in quite a while. That was a promise that Ryan Pace and John Fox made, and they've kept it so far with the signing of Rolle. Lots more signings to cover. Busy free agency. For all the best and most up-to-date news on the Chicago Bears, stay right where you're at ChicagoFootball.com.